So in this lesson, I will create the stock list component and write the very first failing test for it. So before I can write the very first failing test, I need to generate the actual component, and I use Angular CLI for that. Then I start the test runner and see that the very first test is passing, and that's the test that's been generated by default by Angular CLI. So I usually dive right into the code and repurpose this existing test into my very first meaningful test, where I describe the most basic essential behavior for the component I'm building, and in this case, the component should list existing stocks. So here I will assert that the component should generate 4 stocks by default. To do that, I usually create a function called elements that returns all the HTML elements against which I need to run tests. So in this case, I expect that the function will return all the stocks as an array so that I can assert against the length and expect that there will be 4 stocks. Let's add this elements function, and as you can see, it returns an object with elements that are keyed by the things that we are interested in, which in this case the stocks, and the value of this element is a query performed against the debug element, where we search for all the elements in HTML that have the stock class. So essentially it returns all the stocks that our component has generated. Now let's check the test runner, and it is expectedly failing because so far we didn't add any code that will produce these 4 HTML elements with the stock class against which we are asserting. So at this point we have our first failing test, and the next step is to make it pass.